Recapping what we saw yesterday, the Vikings, they're real. They're 5-0, but that NFC North, everybody is a winning team right now. Vikings 5-0, Lions 3-1, Bears and Packers 3-2. Texans with a big win. Questionable coaching in that one. Situational football, they like to call that. The Ravens against the Bengals. That was a great finish there. Jags got a win. Yay. Yay. And the 49ers, they can't put away the pesky Cardinals. Here's their head coach, Kyle Shanahan.
Extremely frustrated. I think we had 13 points and 17 in the other. By no means should we be able to give that away. Always will come back to turnovers, in my opinion. There's other things you can do to overcome them. I talked about last night how we thought a key in this game would be turnovers, and that's exactly what the first half was. Gave us a huge advantage, and then it flipped in the second half, and when you do that, it's tough to win.
Okay, it's early-ish, but it's still mid-October, and they're banged up. But then you look at that division. Giants beat Seattle. I didn't have much hope for Arizona, but give them credit. They played well enough to pick up the win. The Rams banged up. And then I wonder, November 5th is your trade deadline. You start to look around the NFL and you go, okay, who's buying, who's selling? Like if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, do you think your franchise is going to start selling? Now, you can't sell off your quarterback. You'd like to. But Myles Garrett, could he be had? Njoku, like you start to look around and go, when does that team go, let's make up our mind here, whether we're buying, selling, or we're going to stay as is. But you probably in the next 2 weeks, that's when you're going to start to look at these teams and say, could you see a scenario where the Rams say to Matthew Stafford, look, Cooper Kupp's banged up, Puka Nacua not be able to come back. Would you be, interested in playing on another team? Just throw it out there. Now, I would think he would probably not be. It seems like they're firmly entrenched in L.A., but do you say that as a courtesy to him? These teams that need quarterback. If you said Pittsburgh, hey, would you like to have Matthew Stafford? Sure. What's it going to cost us? This is where it gets interesting because when we look back on Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, I don't think we thought, boy, they're going to give up Jared Goff. And they're going to give up, they're going to pay, they're going to give up draft picks, and they're going to get Matthew Stafford. Now, it did work out. I don't know if there's going to be a team that will do that prior to the trade deadline. The Cowboys with a big win last night in Pittsburgh. This is where Pittsburgh's defense, game on the line, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to shut down the Cowboys. But Dak Prescott leads them down, gets the game-winning touchdown. And the Packers picked up a win. And still not sure about the Packers. It's one of those where you go, sloppy. But it's still early. We're 5 weeks in. Seton, would you do the honor? Stat of the day is always brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of this program.
Well, we might as well start with worst loss of the weekend, but with an asterisk. We're taking Alabama off the list. They're taking that one off the board because that is just,
okay.
Catastrophically bad. So we're going to remove that one because we want to actually try to have an entertaining poll question.
Okay.
We may call this the Alabama poll question.
Okay.
We might also be able to split this into NFL and college football questions too.
All right.
Because there were so many huge losses in college football.
Okay.
But if we go to the NFL, 49ers, that's a bad loss.
Home loss.
Home loss, dog. That's not great.
I love, though, when Kyler Murray made the turn and it looked like he was about 2 yards in front of the defenders and he already started celebrating and he had 40 yards to go. It was like, I got a step on you. That's enough. Scoring. Touchdown. It was, woo. That was quick. All right. What else, Seton?
Bengals, they just can't seem to right the ship.
I know, but if I look at their schedule coming up, the Bengals can get back in this. It's just their defense has not played well at all. Joe Burrow was awesome yesterday.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Paulie.
The Bengals had a chance to win it. McPherson, their field goal kicker, got the blame. It says on all the headlines, McPherson misses field goal to win game for Bengals. The holder dropped the ball and put the ball sideways for the kicker to kick. But let's get some blame on the holder. Let's take it like a BH. It should be called a BH, a bad hold or something. Need a new stat.
Okay.
Because that was not the kicker's fault.
No, it wasn't. but he missed the ball to place it. That was what was missed in that situation. But that was a wild finish. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, what a crazy touchdown pass. Crazy. Here is how it sounded.
Lamar in the shotgun. Lamar bobbles the snap, has to pick it up off the turf. He's being chased, corralled, stiff arms a man, Sam Hubbard, and finally slings in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! Isaiah Likely! Oh my! Unbelievable!
Awesome. That's courtesy of 98 Rock Ravens Radio Network. All right. What else do you have, Seton?
That's fun. The Bills dropped that one. I don't know if it's so much that they lost or how they lost, but
I didn't understand it. Under a minute, and you're down at your goal line, and you throw 3 passes. Once you throw the first one, then you got to throw 2 more. And I just thought, don't give. They had their timeouts left. Why are you giving them the opportunity? The Bills and Sean McDermott put a loss in play by doing that. Now, they might have gotten the ball back and had a little bit of time left, but run the football. Don't be throwing 20-yard passes here and live to, have another, overtime. Yes. What else, Seton?
I'm going to throw the Colts in there.
Okay.
I feel like losing to the Jaguars, a team you should have beaten, and you're trying to be competitive, that's one that, to me, that's a bad loss.
Yeah, but, I mean, Flacco played well. I don't know. Like, the Jags are supposed to be a really good team. They haven't played that way. I don't know. Like, Jonathan Taylor, wasn't he out in this game? Like, they felt like they were banged up. And Flacco's out there throwing for 300 yards.
But 3-2 versus 2-3, especially against a team that you should have beaten.
Yeah.
It's their only win this year. I don't know. That feels like one that you let get away.
That felt like if you're Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
You lose that one, and all of a sudden you're like, boy. And I was wondering this, because the Browns moved on from Joe Flacco. And I thought, they didn't even give him an offer. Then they brought in Jameis Winston. And I thought, well, how much are they paying Jameis Winston? And how much is Joe Flacco making in Indy? I think they're making $4 million apiece. It doesn't make any sense that you get rid of Flacco. I mean, it's not like he's slowing down. He was never fast to begin with. But he knows how to play quarterback. Jameis Winston doesn't. I mean, he can provide, a couple of highlights here for both teams, but Joe Flacco, I think they don't want a quarterback controversy. I think that's really what it came down to. That Joe Flacco is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson right now. So they move on from him, and he's still able to play at a pretty high level. And he wouldn't walk off the field on a 4th down, quit on his team. Now, I did have a Browns fan say to me, there was confusion of what they wanted to do. It didn't sound like or look like that with Kevin Stefanski, the head coach. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Usually, doesn't the quarterback fight to stay on the field? Hey, we're going for it, right? Come on, let me try it. We're going for it. You're losing. You're getting blown out. He was like, yeah, 4th down. Let me get over here. Some bad body language there, man. Bad body language. What else, Seton?
We could switch it over to, am I missing any NFL losses, by the way? Any that really jump out, Paul?
Yes, Paul.
I would like to say the Colts loss isn't that bad because I'm a Colts fan. I feel generally good about where we are considering my, Anthony Richardson's been hurt. If I'm a Browns fan right now, I'm on a cliff. We have a bad, expensive quarterback with tons and tons of baggage who we can't get rid of. It's like having mold in your home and you have no way to get it out. It's horrible.
Yeah.
They're non-competitive. They've got a lot of talent on that roster if you look at it. I mean, your quarterback's walking off, not trying to get a quick touchdown and make it a respectable game.
He just doesn't have any energy. He's not alive. He doesn't seem to care. He's a shell of himself. And as I said, I had a source last week who said he doesn't want to run anymore. He's getting hit so often, he doesn't want to run. So there's not that dual threat with him. And It's all guaranteed. I mean, that's whew. Would you rather have that quarterbacking situation or the Dolphins quarterbacking situation moving forward? Deshaun cost you more, at least the next couple of years, and you don't know if Tua's going to play, and if he does play, how long he'll play. By the way, watching Josh Allen yesterday's head hit the ground, that to me, that would have the concussion. But he did get right back up, but it was one of those where, and if you've ever had a concussion, you always try to like shake your head, and it doesn't do anything. You're like, whoa. And then when they give you smelling salts, like he got his bell rung. But went into, I think they said it was his ankle. The NFL's never going to change because the players aren't going to change. They're like, oh, man, I hurt my ankle. Why are you shaking your head? I have no idea. Yes, Paulie.
Josh Allen was 9 of 30, and they could have stole that game and won it. 9 of 30. Jeez. Wild day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yes, Todd.
That's not a typo?
No.
I just double-checked it.
Are you sure?
Maybe it's 19, and I'm reading it wrong.
Yeah,
I only have one eye.
That's not possible.
I think you got the 9. You didn't get the
right.
Yeah.
It's on the left side.
Yes, Todd.
How do you not check Allen out, whether he's grabbing his ankle, knowing players grab different body parts to stay in the game? And if they did check him out, how could he come back after just one play like that quickly?
I have no idea. I'm sure they checked him out because you have an independent doctor who's in there. And you can't watch that play and go, yep, that's his ankle. I mean, it might have been, but his head bounces off the turf.
That was some thorough check. One play, he comes right back in.
By the way, watching my New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, not good. It's 17-0. And you'd want to talk about body language. Now, nobody's worse than Deshaun Watson. But Aaron Rodgers, dude, let's go. Come on. They could easily have 2 more wins that ended up, losses there. I mean, let's go. We got to speed up the process here. And play calling, if I'm the Jets, I got to throw the ball early. I don't want to run the football, especially against Minnesota, because Minnesota is waiting for 3rd and long. That defense is waiting. They had 3 interceptions. I mean, what are you doing? And I said this at the beginning of the year. Robert Saleh is either the coach of the year or he gets fired. I mean, really, that's what it's all about. And I don't think he's much of a coach, but maybe they can play their way out of Robert Saleh getting fired. Yes, Mark.
Aaron Rodgers should just be the OC. Like, you know what? I'm calling plays from now on. Because obviously what Nathaniel Hackett's doing is not working.
Well, you don't think he is the OC? His best friend's the offensive coordinator. I don't think there's any friction between the two. It probably is like, hey, I'm going to run this. All right, sounds good to me. That's probably the discussion. Yeah, Paulie.
We talked about inventions last week. We still need some type of reminder to our phones that there's a London game at 9:30 in the morning Eastern. And even if you're on the West Coast, it's really early. I missed half of the first quarter, and I totally was aware of that game being on and what time. But I'm running around, doing
and
stuff.
So did the Jets.
Yes.
They missed a good portion of that. Here's Aaron Rodgers after the loss.
That was below my standard. I just found out I've never thrown 2 picks in the first quarter before. So that's a first. One of us cost, obviously, 7, and the other, could have cost 3. So in a game where you lose by 6, plays like that are exponentially highlighted. So 3 turnovers for me is definitely out of character, and I'm disappointed.
They have to get Devontae Adams. It's not a question anymore. If they get him or if they don't. No, they have to have him. Have to. Because that offense is not scaring anybody. Defense, they've ruined some really good defensive performances here. Yeah, Marv.
But how much angrier are Jets fans going to be when they still put out a turnout like this with Devontae Adams?
Well, if that's the case, you might be looking at the quarterback. Certainly the offensive coordinator. Yeah, Paulie.
It's a weird situation. Like the Devontae Adams Jets trade is dependent on the Jets' status. Let's say I would have thought it would have been done last week or early this week, but if they lose to the Bills this week, they're what? They would be 2-4.
2-4.
Yeah, 2-4. What are the odds of making the playoffs at 2-4? and you're going to go all in on an expensive wide receiver at 2-4, or you maybe say like, not this year, didn't work out. I don't know. I wonder if it's a sliding scale of interest based off your status as a playoff team.
Yeah, at some point, it's like, why bother? But it feels like the AFC East is there. I mean, New England can be competitive. I mean, Miami, I don't know. Buffalo didn't look good. It's there. Like, this is there for the Jets to take. Their offensive game planning is terrible.